Democrats have said that they are not going to give in and negotiate, that they don't mind if the electorate is in a little bit of pain, because ultimately that pain will lead to pressure on Republicans who will cave on the Obama subsidies. But what I have seen as as an independent voter, I'm a philosophical libertarian, is I've seen Mike Johnson go out and make the case for the continuing resolution that they want to pass in the House. I've seen John Thune make the case and try and get some more Democrats on board to vote to either lift this shutdown or at least pause on some of these payments for a month. So people don't starve and don't suffer, and the government can figure things out. That seems pretty rational. I saw Rand Paul the other night talking about having a group of bipartisan senators come up with a way to unpause the government long enough to hammer some of these points. Do you think the Republicans are coming off as the more rational party during the shutdown?
Well, yeah, I think the Democrats were counting on the fact that the media always backs them up in the, after the shutdown happened. So it's 100% shut down by the Democrats. There's no question about it. That's what happened. Democrats said, we are going to shut down the government because we want these things. And so they did it. So they can unshut it at any time. They've all decided they have to act in unison. They have some Democrats, I think, who are kind of on the fence. They might want to, but they're enforcing this. No, we all have to act together. We're not going to let them get the 60 votes. We're going to keep the government shut down. And then CNN and the Washington Post and people, everyone did an article. Like, who do you blame for the shutdown? We asked America. It's like, no, everybody knows. It's like it was shut down by the Democrats. So they were counting on that, but I don't think it's really working. Most people know what's happening. They know the Democrats they know what they're doing. Even if they support it, they know that Democrats are the ones who can unshut it at any time. So what does that mean? I mean, Democrats, the people on the left, they still blame Republicans. Oh, you could give in at any time. Most people over at CNN, the hosts, they say, oh, the Republicans, they should give in here. But I think most people know it's a Democrat thing. So that's where it stands. I mean, it used to work when they had a monopoly, when the media could run the story and control the narrative. But now, no one believes the narrative anymore. So, when I say no one, I mean, half the country doesn't believe it.
Yeah, and the half of the country that has been lied to about some of these big government programs. But also, I do have an issue with the SNAP funding lapsing, because for a lot of people who are on food stamps and, people who live in food deserts, actual food deserts, not the manufactured made up one that Zoran Mamdani says exists here in New York City. And people, by no fault of their own, have been part of a means tested system where they meet the criteria. I don't think that those people should starve. Imagine the anxiety for a family that relies on food stamps to eat if that's going to go away in a couple days. And there are Republicans who are on board with that. I despise most government programs and a vast majority of government spending. But this is one of the few areas where I'm like, I agree with Josh Hawley. I don't think people in this country should starve. What are your feelings about the SNAP program?
Yeah, I don't know why they can't. There's so many things that are, that are still running because certain emergency services, essential services are running, just like what happened during the pandemic when they said we have to shut everything down. But of course, essential services, and then they decide what is essential. I don't know why
Bars.
Yeah, exactly.
Grocery stores.
Really unbelievable.
Not gyms, not churches.
Yeah, I know. And the number of people, I always talk about this, and I talk about it with Greg all the time. The number of people, because I know some whose families were affected by this, who were, struggling with addiction, and they couldn't go to their meeting because the churches were closed, but they could go to the bars. And you know what? Then they got $1,000 check in the mail.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people? I mean, that was a lot of death and destruction.
Yeah, that is a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
It's awful.
But I agree with you. Even if it's not through the SNAP program, that somehow the Trump and Republicans should come up with an emergency way to get benefits to these people. Why not? Why can't they do that? I would think they would be able to do that.
Yes. I mean, I think that's one of the critical things.
Just say it's an emergency.
Yes.
I'm also being a right winger, and I'm as right as they come. Like, I'm right wing. I don't even say I'm conservative. I'm right wing. Okay.
Is
But
that more conservative than conservative?
I think it is. I mean, I like to say right wing because conservative, I think there's a lot of people who, I think of conservative as like Heritage Foundation. Well, let's try to be the way that we were, 3 months ago. It's like, no, no, no. I want to go way back,
Yeah.
So, but I am pretty much, you could call me a pro-welfare Republican. Like,
I mean, that's very Catholic.
yes.
I think that's how my parents are.
Yeah. And
My
you know what?
parents are Catholic Democrats because they want to help people.
Yes.
But that Democrat Party does not exist anymore.
Yes.
Like what they signed up for, I'm sorry. But
Yes.
but that, I believe, is a vestige of people who feel that if the government has the ability to take care of the less fortunate and people who cannot provide for themselves, call it a safety net or whatever else that has been bastardized and stretched. But I don't think food stamps are something that should be excluded from that.
Yeah.